Well, the good news is we are now going into module 12. We only have a few more weeks. In fact, we only have one more week of new content after this. And so this is pretty exciting. This is a fun module, a fun topic for a lot of people. It's geometric figures. Now, when we say geometry, a lot of people didn't like high school geometry class, but really the ideas and foundations and fundamentals of geometry are built starting in the very early ages, kindergarten, first grade. We start laying those foundations. And so this module, and then next week, module 13, chapters 10 and 11, those are going to be connected in a lot of ways. Chapter 10 is about geometric figures, learning about a lot of terminology. There's a lot of terminology in this unit and what they mean and analyzing them in all sorts of different perspectives. And then next week, once we get into chapter 11, then we'll be dealing with more of the formulas. So let's take a look at some of the details here for this week. So you'll see here, again, we are working now in chapter 10, and there are 3 sections in the textbook that we'll be discussing. You have your introductory video. There are PowerPoint slides that accompany these, one from each of the 3 sections. I have 2 links to online applications. One is the isometric drawing tool. I will mention this in one of the videos, but you can do a little dragging and pasting of these 3-dimensional figures, and you can do some fun rotations of them in space. I think it gives you a good idea, a good 3-dimensional visualization. It's a really important skill for doing this work. Another is this Pattern Shapes interactive app, and it allows you to, again, play with some of these common geometric shapes. Back into our Blackboard, there is a smart book assignment. Again, there are 3 sections. The good news is there are only 5 videos. Section 10.1 has 3 videos. Section 10.2 and 10.3 just have a single video. We're not covering every single topic in those chapters. So some actually fewer videos this week, which is always good. There's a discussion reflection, homework on the Connect platform. Competency test D is finishing up this week. So you have, if you have not yet completed that with your 90%, attempt 2 is due on April 6th. Attempt 3 is due on April 8th. And actually, for this week, I could probably even remove attempt number 2 because that'll be over on Sunday. So I'll actually can be taking this out before you watch this video. So if you haven't, let me do it right now. If you haven't completed attempt number 1 or 2 with your 90%, attempt 3 is due by Tuesday of this week. And then we get to start preparing for our final competency test. Let me give you a quick preview of what this is all about. So test E is about geometric figures and calculating things like perimeter, area, surface area, and volume of common geometric figures. It is going to be a multiple choice test. You need your 90%, but some questions may include more than one part. It may ask for perimeter and area in the same problem. So you might have to do multiple calculations for each problem. You'll have 30 minutes. You may not use notes or resources, but you may use a calculator in this one, and you will be provided the formulas that you need. So you don't need to worry about memorizing the formulas. You just need to know how to use them. A couple notes on this test is that when you're doing your calculations, if it involves pi, you'll need to use the number 3.14 rather than the pi button on your calculator. You'll also need to round all of your final answers, if necessary, to the nearest whole number. That's how all of the multiple choice responses will be done. When you're doing that, don't round any intermediate calculations. Sometimes a problem has multiple steps. Don't round anything until you get to that final answer. And you also must know the correct units of measurement. Now, these are topics that will be discussed more in the next chapter, the final module. But again, I like to give you this preview ahead of time. There are a couple notes about units of measurement for different types of these objects. There again are all sorts of links to Khan Academy so you can practice these things. Again, they're not going to cover every single possible iteration that you might see, but again, you can find the area of this trapezoid. It allows you to go put your answer in and check it. So it's a great place to practice those. And then finally, I have a 19 question practice test available like always. And if you open that, you can see again those figures that you would have to find, again, perimeters, areas, volumes, surface areas for. And then there is also a solution document for that. And so you'll see on that first page the answers and then all of my worked solutions. So as always, make sure that you try it on your own first before you check those solutions. Again, I'm providing this to you this week because that test will open up next week on Thursday. Okay, so you can start that preparation. That's it for module 12, and we will talk soon.